I bet you weren't expecting to see me just yet. It hasn't been a month, but my husband gave me this idea to possibly throw in these short impromptu videos here and there sporadically in between. And the idea is they are not necessarily going to be as polished, or at least as polished as I get them, or edited, or things like that. It'll just kind of be short, come on, and keep the momentum going, and just touching base with you guys, sharing some thoughts, get some thoughts back from you about whatever it is that we happen to be talking about. And I thought that was a good idea, and I wanted to keep it going. So there's that. And then I got to thinking, well, what do I want to talk about? Because usually I spend a little bit more time gathering information and thinking about the information before I share it with you guys. And so I thought, well, I've been starting this new strategy, and you haven't heard it yet. It'll be in a video upcoming. And part of the strategy is identifying targets and identifying, or just like writing things down. And I've actually really learned a lot about the things in my brain from writing this stuff down. And so I thought, well, that's a good maybe place to start, is to kind of look at something, kind of a spark of an idea or spark of a topic, and then share it with you guys and see how, if you guys are thinking the same thing or dealing with the same thing. And so for this week, I had kind of a bad week. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was one of those weeks where I just wasn't hitting my targets, my goals, and that's part of the thing I've been trying to work on. And so the thing is, like, I thought, okay, wait a minute. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, when something is just not working out right, or you're not maybe doing what you want to be doing, then that's when you want to kind of stop and think about it. And so what really was happening is I was identifying some things that I wanted to get done in the day, and it just wasn't getting done. And that's the whole point, because I mean, that was my former self. My former self was, oh, I'm not getting anything done in the day. I'm just going to all these other things, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. But I'm purposely trying to be more productive at home. And so, so it had been working. And then all of a sudden it was like a couple days of just like, oh, I didn't do it again. I got to thinking, like, my old self would say, oh, Jenny, you are being bad. You're being a bad person. You're not being a good person. A good person would do these things. You are a loser. I would just have all this negative self-talk. And so in trying to practice to be a little bit more positive with myself and not be so harsh, I kind of looked at it really kind of like flipping a coin. Every time you flip a coin, it's the same 50-50 chance to get, the other side the next day. And the thing is, like, it's not necessarily up to chance, but the way I can look at it is the next day is a new day. It's a new flip of the coin. And in this case, I have the mental powers that I can make the coin go a certain way. I can say, okay, yes, yesterday was a tails kind of day, but tomorrow can be a heads kind of day, and I can actually make that happen. And so the way I acted in one day does not have to dictate how I am the next day. It does not influence the next day. So when I thought about it that way, in the sense that, yes, maybe I have even like 5 days that are tail days, and I can still, the next day does not have to be influenced by all those 5 days of landing on tails. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a relief, I would say, that just because I did bad, I was bad, I don't have to be bad the next day, and I can do better. Now, maybe I won't do it 100%, whatever the targets are, but I can do better. And one last thing, I did realize that some of the items that I had on my list, it was almost like even though I needed to do it, I know I needed to do it, I was still putting it off. So again, that was one of those things where I was like, wait a minute, the old Jenny would just keep leaving it off and not doing it. And then I realized, no, I'm supposed to think about it. I'm supposed to kind of look into and wonder, why am I feeling this way? And it kind of boiled down to the particular item I was avoiding was we got a new machine, a cooking machine, and I needed to wash up some of the parts. That seems like a very easy thing to do, to wash up some of the parts, but I kind of felt it felt a little daunting to me, because once I wash up the parts and it's like I need to start using it, but I don't know how to use it yet. So I thought, okay, wait, maybe because I keep avoiding washing the parts, maybe if I read the booklet that came with it, then maybe I'll feel a little bit better about actually getting started with using the machine. And so I did. I started, that was one of my tasks. So instead of washing the parts, I wrote, I'm going to read the booklet and get more information. And so that actually helped me to feel a little bit better about moving forward. So now I know what to expect. And so then the next thing that I will have on my list, because I have not washed up the parts yet, is to look up some recipes that maybe I can use. And so I'll be able to then, once I do wash up the parts, I'll be ready to go to start. So in this particular case, I needed to do more research because I felt like I wasn't ready to jump in to actually use the machine yet. So anyway, all those details, the big idea is that I broke it down into identifying what was bothering me. And so that really helped to maybe, so I didn't have to, well, okay, I guess I would say I had to go 2 steps back in order to move forward. And that really helped in this particular case. So yeah, so those 2 things, it was not thinking about how one day has to influence the next day. And then also how maybe if I'm avoiding something, it's because I'm not ready yet. And so I needed to do a little bit more research and step back in order to move forward. So again, these things kind of came to me as I was writing, which is exactly what the purpose is to kind of get all this stuff out of the brain, and it really works. I'm just so amazed. And you're going to hear me rave about it again, because it's like, this has been the most valuable thing to me, is just realizing how much I have in my brain that I didn't even realize. So anyway, I would love to know, what are you doing? What are you working on right now? You kind of heard a little bit of what I'm working on as far as helping me to process, writing things down, identifying targets. Are you doing something similar, or are you doing something different? Let me know. And so that's our video for today, and I will see you again next time, whenever that is. Bye.